Hello, welcome. Welcome to Rise and Receive, a reset point in your day designed to support you in exploring how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So, we are in part 2 of a new series on receiving fulfilling relationships, how to open the floodgates. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that, if you're like me, hopefully it'll bring you a lot of relief. It's about attachment. We get now not attachment in terms of relationship attachment styles, but attachment for when there's something that you really want in your life and you still haven't gotten it yet. You're trying to get there. You've been struggling with it. And it's even worse when you have some awareness of manifestation principles, law of attraction, the power of your consciousness. We really mess with ourselves when we want something really badly and we're attached to it. And we've heard these teachings of, well, you need to let it go and you need to not be attached, which is the last thing your ego mind wants to do, is to let go. Letting go to the ego mind is like death, basically. And so we hear these spiritual teachings or these manifestation principles that say you need to let go and then it'll come to you, and then you want to punch that person in the face. I felt like that when I really wanted to get pregnant and I was struggling with fertility, and people would say, oh, just let it go. And I've heard about these stories about people who, women who got pregnant when they finally let it go. If you really want something, that's the last thing you can do. So we're going to talk about attachment. Can you tell I'm excited about it? And specifically to the realm of receiving fulfillment in your relationships. And I'm going to make it really specific to romantic relationships. I have a lot of clients I've worked with over the years. This is actually one of my passions and specialties is, primary partnership relationships. It's something that I love to coach women on. All people actually. Have helped men as well with this, but I attract a lot of women around this. And I've had a program that I did a few years ago called the Relationship Mastery Circle for Women, which is a home study program now. So if you're interested, I'll post a link to that. But for today, we're going to talk about a blind spot that can really have you feel stuck if you want to receive fulfillment in relationships, specifically attracting a romantic partnership. And I'm going to be illuminating a blind spot that I've already talked about in a different series, which is called the faulty focus blind spot, but really do a deep dive into how it applies to relationships. So before I go into the blind spot, then I want to talk about what a blind spot is. So I define a blind spot as when your current point of view hides an essential insight. So if you're looking at attracting the relationship of your dreams and you're focused on it a certain way, then you can only see manifesting that a certain way. And you might have a blind spot that prevents you from seeing what you actually need to see to get unstuck and open the flow gates. So it's about a perspective shift. And specifically to receiving, a receiving blind spot is when you're operating more as a human doing versus a human being. Because we know how to do. When we find a problem that we want to solve, like I want to manifest a relationship of my dreams, we start doing, which means we act like the hunter and we think and strategize, and we look out on the horizon for how do I solve this problem, and we take a whole lot of action. So, you'll hear all kinds of advice from people about, well, you need to get on the online dating sites, and you need to dress a certain way, and you need to talk a certain way, and you need to go places where you're going to be able to meet people. I mean, do, think. Meanwhile, you're not actually tapping into the power of being, which is where you really connect with, what is my consciousness? What is the consciousness that I'm embodying that I need to really nurture that will allow me to receive this into my life? Because when you tap into the power of being, which is like the majestic tree who actually does nothing and examines nothing and yet receives everything that it needs and much of what it wants all day long, now you can actually stop all the hard work and receive what it is that you want. That's a skill set unto itself, and that's what I'm passionate about. So if you don't know me, I'm Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I teach people how to receive that very concrete, results producing skill set that manifests relationship, dating, love, marriage, and all kinds of other things that we want. So this week we're focusing on receiving relationships. Okay, now that being said, the blind spot that I'm going to illuminate today is called the faulty focus blind spot. As I said, I talked about this in another area of life that we want to receive in an earlier video. But for today, we're going to talk about relationships. And because a blind spot, by definition, is something that you don't even know is there, you can't see, okay? You're blind to your own blind spots. What I like to do is offer clues. So the clue that tells you you might be hindered or limited or stuck because of this faulty focus blind spot is when you are super attached. Remember, we talked about attachment to the form. So let's say you're a woman and you want to manifest a dream relationship with a man, but you can change it up if you're any other gender or any other sexuality, or you're a guy who wants a woman. It doesn't matter. We get attached to the form so that we think the form is this guy needs to look a certain way. I'm just going to use that for ease of teaching. This person needs to look a certain way. And it isn't just physically. It's like a certain job or certain money, or they have to do this, have this skill set or that other skill set. So we really get attached to the form of what we think our dream relationship will look like. And we also get attached to the form about how do I actually meet this person, right? And the form of yourself, what do I have to do? And what are the right answers? And how do I act? And how do I behave? So you're very much in strategy and doing mode. And here's what happens. Even if you focus on the type of relationship that you want and you've got all of the details, and a lot of people do this. They hear that they're supposed to make a list of the perfect mate. So they write down the list. You could actually attract and meet the perfect mate, right? And you might not be happy. You might not be fulfilled, right? This happens all the time. You meet Mr. Right, Miss Right, whatever, and then you start dating and you're not happy, you're not satisfied. It doesn't take long before you realize, oh my gosh, this isn't working, right? So what you're really after is the essence. You want to focus on how you feel in the relationship, how the relationship feels, what are the qualities. So you want to focus on the essence so the form can come. So this faulty focus, you know that it might be acting up for you if you're attached to the form, you're really focused on that, okay? And either you get a person that fits all of the boxes, right, but you're not happy, or the other thing that can happen when you're stuck and you're focusing on the form is nothing happens. Like you don't get the person, you don't get any kind of relationship, you don't have any kind of success. So when you focus on the form, it's at best, you might have limited success for a little bit, but that lasting fulfillment eludes you. So that's what causes the stuckness. That's the clue. How do you open the flow gates? You open the flow gates by focusing on the essence, as I was saying, so that the form can come. So essence talks about what are the feelings I want to feel, right? What would it feel like to be in my dream relationship? What does it feel like in our relationship together? How does he feel? How does she feel being around me? Okay, so you focus on the essence. Now, one of the things I wanted to go deeper into today is I just got off of a Receive Community Q&A call. So Receive Community Q&A calls are part of the Receive course that I teach. I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later if you're interested. And we have those every week. And I had a question from one of the students come in, and he in particular was talking about connecting. How do I connect this essence piece with the actions that I take for the results that I want, right? So here's what happens. In the Hunter model, the way action connects to results is it's very obvious and linear. A plus B equals C. Okay, so if I follow this plan, then I'll get a result. That's fine if it's a physical world task. But when you're wanting to manifest a dream where you can't control the elements of the task, you cannot control if you're going to meet your perfect partner. There's a million different variables, right? So we focus on the essence, right? Which means we do these awareness practices internally. We do this being work, right? You do this over here, and then poof, over here, a result happens. And what happens is miracles happen in the messy. Being, the majestic tree, agriculture, having babies, everything that is of this being feminine energy model, right, is messy and nonlinear, but it is super fast and it allows you to receive beyond what you could ever imagine. But you're not always going to be able to connect the dots. So I really wanted to provide a really clear step-by-step process that helps you understand how to focus on the essence so the form comes. And so this gentleman in my class was asking about this very thing. And here's one of my favorite tools that can just really amplify this. So here it goes. To focus on the essence of a dream relationship, there's 3 sorts of feeling states that you want to connect with. First is, and this is a great way to identify the feeling, okay? Ask yourself, and this helps with the attachment, what's the feeling? What is it that I think this dream relationship will give me? What's the feeling this dream relationship will give me that I can't get any other way? Okay? Every goal that we have is for a feeling. We're always chasing a feeling. And when we're super attached to the form, it's because we just really are struggling to connect with that feeling inside of us. That feeling already lives within you, but we just can't seem to connect with it. So I invite you to, for this first step, is take some time to just sit quietly and see if you can connect with that feeling. For most people, it's a feeling of love, affection, connection, support, romance, excitement, passion. See if you can connect with at least one feeling that if this person were to come into your life, you'd be like, hallelujah, like this is it. This is the feeling I wanted. Sorry, I'm having a little technical thing there. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is you want to connect with the feeling of, I have it right now. Because if you are in now, which is what gratitude is about, when you give thanks, you're giving thanks for something that is here right now, then when it's here right now, you're not seeking. And if you're not seeking, you're not in the energy of lack and needing and wanting and yearning. Okay, so that's the second feeling. I'm going to talk to you about how to do that in a second. The feeling of right now. So the feeling of the desire, the feeling of right now, and then the other one is the feeling of beyond, where you are able to attract and have something beyond what your mind could ever conceive of. Now, why is beyond important? Because what happens is when we're really attached, our minds are focused on limitation. We're kind of locked into the boundaries of what we know and what we're familiar with. So when you tap into the energy of beyond, you can start to invite, which is the being model of power, beyond your wildest dreams, beyond what you could ever conceive of. That's what kind of supercharges the speed of bringing this into your life so you can receive it. All right. So with that, this is the practice. Think of something in your life that you have right now that you are happy with, content with. You can acknowledge that it's going well. And then think about, it's something that you always wanted and you have it right now. But when you go back in time, you think about, oh my gosh, back then, what I have now is better than I could have ever imagined. So I used to do that with my body, right? Like right now, I am very content with my body, my relationship with food. But when I was struggling with bulimia, I was in hell, basically, right? And so I would, whenever I have a little bit of a twinge, like, oh, my pants are a little bit tight or something like that, I just remind myself, oh my gosh, I am receiving fulfillment with my body that is better than I ever imagined right now. Thank you for this experience. How does it get even better than this? Okay. That acknowledgement in your awareness and that feeling state, that frame of reference that right now, what you have is better than you ever imagined, instantly activates the consciousness of the feeling that you want around that thing right now and beyond. So when you connect with the feeling for your relationship, it doesn't have to be that you had a relationship that's better than you ever imagined, but that feeling. Let's say that feeling for you around the relationship is that feeling of love, right? And maybe you connect with that feeling of love when you're with your pet. Love, affection, relaxation. So when you're with your pet and you're just, really in that great happy place, right? And you think about maybe a time when you really wanted that pet or a time when you felt lonely, right? Then in this moment, you can connect with, oh my gosh, this feeling of love and relaxation and affection is so much better than I could have ever imagined back then. Okay? You act the energy of the desire, the energy of now, and the energy of beyond. Okay? And then through the power of invitation, simply say to yourself, to life and the universe, how does it get even better than this? And that puts out the energy of invitation. The being model is invitation. The doing model is intention. Simply allow that to be here through your invitation. You don't have to answer the question, okay? You don't answer it. Just be an invitation and then go on with your day and just watch what happens. This is how you train your awareness. So I'd love to hear if you try this on, how it feels, any light bulbs that go off. Just practice it. It's really, really powerful. All right. And if it was useful to you, please like, share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. Hit the subscribe button. And I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that if you want to learn more about how to receive, you can actually register for the Receive course. It's evergreen anytime for as little as $97 a month. Just go to receivecourse.com. When you join, you have access to weekly drop-in Q&A office hours, special VIP access to all kinds of special offers and other programs, access to a members-only Facebook groups for 24/7 support. So it's an incredible way to start unlearning struggle and receiving your fulfillment. As soon as you register, the online course is available to you and the support is here. And for other resources, no cost and low cost, check the links. They'll be above or below, depending on if you're on Facebook or YouTube. I am here to answer any questions and hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you one more time. I have to choose my day since we're a little bit off with power outages. Probably on Monday, we'll do one more Rise and Receive on receiving fulfilling relationships. Open the flow gates. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.